Right, now we've spent some time to prepare ourselves, let's pick up where we left off and take on Motorbridge's gym leader. But in order to get to the gym's actual location, we will need to hop on board a special passenger train, which will take us there. While traveling through the different cars, we can battle the multiple gym trainers. And once we've arrived at a special shed for the debt train, we'll meet a jolly-looking man tinkering with one of the cars.
Looks like the shock buffer could be replaced. Maybe... Ooh, well, look who we have here. Another challenger, I assume? Well, I apologize for not noticing you earlier. I was a little busy. My name is Simmons, Chief Mechanic and Gym Leader. Tell me, young'un, have you been on the debt train services yet? Have you enjoyed them? Well, I should hope so. I invented them after all, based it off of my own love of model railways. And I'm sure the debt train appreciate it too. Beforehand, they were considered nuisances in this region. Let's just say being big, fast and competitive could be very destructive. But I found a way for them to be useful, while also giving them a good long run, like they deserve. Like a well-oiled machine player, you can make use of any Pokemon. Don't forget that. But enough rambling, you came here for a gym battle. So much like these train cars, let's see how connected you and your Pokemon are. Alright, first, a bit of power. Go, Magnemite! Oh, silly me. Looks like there are a few parts I left out. Go, Mistake! Ha! Just kidding. Go, Clang! Alright, the cars are all set up. Now all that's missing is our engine. Take to the tracks, Debt Train! Silly me, I suppose some entertainment is needed. After all, train rides can be quite boring for some people. So let's put on a show. Plus Minum!
It's the Alchemon classed as Project Support, Plus Minum. This direct fusion of Plusle and Minum is clearly much stronger than its original components. It's able to generate powerful electric sparks from its hands, which it can use to power up its allies or defend itself. It's very energetic, but to a fault, since it's often seen tiring itself out using up all of its electricity, most likely due to the overloaded energy from both its components.
Well, I suppose we have arrived at our stop. Whew! You've definitely put my Alchemon through its paces. It's practically passed out. Well done, player. As a reward for all your hard work, here is the battery badge. Oh yes, my poor Pokemon put through its paces. You know, I've been hearing a lot of criticism about these Alchemon lately. My wife has her indifferences, but I can see the value in all of these Pokemon. Sure, they have their fair share of problems, but so does every other Pokemon. And whenever me or anyone else here is working, we just can't help but smile as Plus Minum cheers about and dances. It loves keeping us in a good mood. Although it does often tire itself out, the poor thing. But hey, if any of your Pokemon need a charge up, this should help. I'm sorry to break up the conversation so soon, player, but I must get back to work. If you're wondering which gym to take on first, why not pay a visit to my wife, if you haven't already. Her gym is located in Cogsmith, and she's always willing to accept challenges from young trainers such as yourself. And who knows, maybe she'll give you a bit more of a challenge. See you around, player.
2 down, 6 to go. And while we're on a roll, we might as well take Simmons' advice and go visit this Cogsmith. But in order to do that, we're going to have to go through one of the 3 wild areas throughout the region. Now, the wild areas themselves in this country are 3 special biomes. We'll go into more detail about them in another arc, but for the time being, let's visit the only one that we need to visit at the moment. The Woods of Dunkel. Dunkel is the oldest and largest woods in the entire region, with trees as large as skyscrapers and areas pitch black. Trainers are often advised to have a guide before entering this place, not just because of the wild Pokemon, but because of how easy it is to get lost here, especially at night. If you are traveling through here alone, however, it's advised you stick to a set path. Otherwise, you risk running into Pokemon which you can't possibly beat. This place, along with the other two wild areas, have some of the strongest Pokemon in the whole region, but there are a few smaller ones that we can use to build our team. One of the more common sights is this little fella, Chipburg, the Woodbird Pokemon. Though very small and somewhat weak, it is very crafty. Using the razor-sharp talons on its feet, it will craft markings into the trees. These markings are indistinguishable from predators like Ursaring, which comes in handy when you want to scare unwanted attention out of your territory. Or I guess in this case, keeping people on the intended path. Despite their association with trees, they're not grass types, but they do have access to a new ability called Green Thumbs, which does power up their grass type moves. This next one's one of my favorites. This is Splintle, the shrub Pokemon. They're described as being the children of the forest, and despite their abundance here in this wild area, they are incredibly hard to spot due to their size and their well-camouflaged body. But sometimes even that won't protect them from hungry herbivores.
It's tiny!
They are very friendly though, and would definitely make good team members if you choose to add one. You can find these fellas, as well as their evolutions, all over the forest, especially the more powerful ones. But other than them, the other newbies you can find are these fellas, including Deer Voyance for the first time, so this is your chance to catch one for your own, as well as a ton of bug, ghost, and grass-type veterans. There are plenty of other new and old faces that you can discover in these woods, but we'll get to them at a later date. In the meantime, however, it looks like a very Pacific Pokemon in your party is ready to evolve. Who is it, you may ask? Well... Congratulations! Your starter Pokemon, Bagrill, has evolved into Tenderam, the Fire Sheep Pokemon. Though still a little leery, these guys have started pulling their own weight, and can sometimes be seen helping out in farms, using the claws on the front of their limbs to dig up the ground, planting seeds, or tearing up unwanted plants. Makes good fuel for their eternal flame. You're probably wondering where Nervish or Buttapup's evolutions are. Well, I'm not going to be showing them off in this arc anyway. Their evolutions will be saved for the other two arcs, so you'll just have to wait for them in order to find out what those two Pokemon evolve into. A bit of a shame, but hey, look on the bright side. Cogsmith is just on the horizon. Welcome to Cogsmith, a humble little village trapped in time, as it lies slap bam in the middle of the Woods of Dunkel. Though cut off from the rest of the region, the locals get along just fine, especially thanks to the wood that they harvest from the forest. Most of their houses and even the Pokemon Center are made of the stuff, but the crown jewel is a giant wooden clock tower, which hosts the gym, as well as a nice little shop where you can buy some wooden knickknacks. This place is known for stuff like that. Some of it is even shipped overseas and sold at places like I'm gonna reach for the star. Ah!
My scrotums!
You shouldn't have to live like this. Get some real furniture and live like a queen. A Nidoqueen. You can have all this furniture and more at iNidoQueen. Book now. I'm sorry, Mom. I tried, but I just couldn't do it. Don't worry. I'll be back. I'll do better next time, I promise. For now, I just want to make sure that my Pokemon aren't hurt.
Hurt? Your Pokemon may have been knocked out, but they look fine to me. It's you that I'm worried about, my child.
Oh, well, thank you, miss, but I'll be okay. I just lost, that's all. Just need a bit of time to get my bearings, and I'll be...
Your heart wasn't in that battle, was it?
Sorry. Excuse me?
I've met quite a few challenges in my time, and I could see the fire and the passion in all of them. But when I look into your eyes, all I see is confusion and restraint. It felt like you were holding something back, and the way you overreacted when your Pokemon got hurt. Is something the matter?
No, not at all, Mom. I just don't like seeing Pokemon get hurt. But I know very well, if I'm to become an Elite Four member like my father, or even a champion, that's a hurdle I need to overcome. I need to find the bravery to know that my Pokemon will be okay in battle.
That's good and all, my dear, but is that really what you want, though? Just think about it. You'll have plenty of time while you're on your journey. That's why we take these things, to discover ourselves.
I see. Okay then, thank you, Mom. I'll be going. Looks like Charlie beat us to it. Only it appears they've lost to the gym leader. Well, at least we know what they look like, so we're not going in completely blind. And since there's now a slot open, let's take it while we still can. To cover the gym's puzzle real quick, it'll be basically like Faulkner's gym from Diamond and Pearl. Using special switches, you'll have to manipulate the wooden cogs that are set throughout the whole building in order to reach the gym leader. Shouldn't take you too long to arrive on schedule. Should have saved that one for the last gym leader. God damn it!
Clockwork looks fine. Oh, what do we have here? Another challenger? This soon? Have my work cut out for me today. Well, nice to meet you, my child. I'm Soren, the gym leader of these deep forests. Apologies for my reaction, it's just we don't really get that much company around here. Which suits me fine. I usually prefer to spend my time tinkering. But don't think that means I can't put up a challenge. I've been able to tame the many strong Pokemon of these forests in more ways than one. The occasional trainer/challenger is no trouble to me. Especially the last one. They were a kind child, but their heart just wasn't in the moment. I just hope you aren't as disappointing. So let's see what you've got against this chip off the old block, eh? Alright, let's just get you out of the way first. Go, Stomp Yard!
This is Project Splinter, Stump Yard, a Pawniard fused with Phantom DNA. The idea was, and I quote, to make a environmentally friendly Pawniard. However, Phantom's wooden armor is nowhere near as strong as Pawniard's metal, making the Pokemon pretty weak in comparison. If that wasn't bad enough, the wooden armor also slows the Pokemon down. No wonder she's using it first.
About what I expected. Ah well, the real battle can begin now. Go, Splintle! Don't worry, my child. You'll bloom into a mighty tree one of these days. But for now, let's let one of the more experienced lads handle it from here. Go, Cuckoot!
This is one of Soren's oldest Pokemon, Cuckoot, the Woodbird Pokemon. If it wasn't obvious, it's the evolved form of Chipbird, evolving at level 26. Like its pre-evolution, it uses its razor-sharp talons to leave markings in the trees. However, it also does it in a way where it can remember its territory, or even lure in prey, as they're mesmerized by the patterns. Cuckoo will often act as mentors to other Pokemon, normally Chipperds. However, they can be pretty stubborn and don't take kindly to nonsense, threatening to slash them using their razor-sharp wings, which they can use to defend themselves as well. Despite their threatening appendages, they can actually be very wise and even as ancient as the forest itself. Soren, for instance, has had this Pokemon ever since she was young, so it will be pretty hard to beat them with the bond they share.
Wow, you even managed to beat Cuckoot. My apologies for underestimating you. It won't happen again, though. It's up to you now. Go, Scyther! Well, I guess that's the way the tree falls, then. Well done, my child. Very impressive. You have a lot of potential, if I do say so myself. Unlike a certain Pokemon that I am forced to use. Forgive me if I sounded prejudiced against that stump yard I used earlier, player. It's just, I'm not too keen on these Pokemon, unlike my husband. I've had my Alcemon for some time now, and it's just not living up to my expectations. It just doesn't seem to care, and it doesn't really get along well with any of my other Pokemon. I may not be able to understand them, but I can tell that Stumpyard is quite stubborn, so to speak. I can just hear his boasting about being somehow better. But enough about my troubles. Here, you've earned this. This is the Carving Badge, a token of your hard work. And with it, I present to you a message to sharpen your skills, so to speak. You have a lot of potential, my child. Do not be like my Stumpyard and disappoint me. Oh, and if you haven't already, maybe you can go to Motor Bridge to visit my husband. He's a gym leader too, and should also provide you with a decent challenge. I'll be looking forward to hearing about you from him.
Whew! 3 gym badges already. We're on a roll. I wonder where we should go next. And what was up with Charlie back there? Ah well, guess we'll find out next time, as our journey through Revolu continues. Hello, Fletchling Trainer. It is I, Nicholas. If you are watching this advertisement, you have most likely defeated Soren in gym battle. I assure you, any problems she may have with her Stumpyard are hers and hers alone. Most Stumpyard are very loyal and efficient, especially if you take the time to get them to level 50, where they evolve into Project Revenant, Trevor Sharp. You like the name, Trevor Sharp? I came up with it myself, along with all the other Alcemon names. Quite proud of it myself, if I do say so myself, don't you think? Anyway, Trevor Sharp's incredibly strong wooden body and ability to shapeshift its arms into various weapons and tools should prove it an incredibly reliable battler. I made it this way personally to try and help Soren with her work, but unfortunately she doesn't see the versatility in it, but I'm hoping you do.
Why is its wood red?
Oh, well, the wooden armor can be quite itchy, but teething troubles, nothing more. I assure you, later models will not have this issue.
Are you sure about—
Find that man and fire him.